Hello, 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 warriors. Tina Salinas from We Are the Voice for the Silent and Afflicted. We are here today with a beautiful couple and family from Oklahoma who is dealing with some child welfare thugs. Unfortunately, there is an immense amount of corruption going on here. We will have some police footage along with some recordings, also which will include some documentations within proof. Reggie and Tamison will be explaining some of those. I will remind people that I am visually impaired, so you'll have to bear with me, along with my story started a long time ago, which I had started a petition on care2.com. And please do not forget to go to the link that we provided after the podcast and sign the petition. This petition is called Malachi's Law, and it is specifically to protect child abused and domestic violence victims. We know all too well that the family court system condone the abuser for some reason and refuse to be the ones to praise protective parents or even help for that matter. Again, we have Reggie and Tamison here, and they are going to explain their story. Their children might come on and pop on and say hi. So anyways, Tamison, I know you said that there was a lot going on. You want to start from the beginning on what happened, and then maybe as you're speaking, I can include either the documentation or maybe the footage to kind of help go along with the story.
Well, when you say beginning, there's a. Well, we're saying
there's really two. The children have been taken twice, so.
Okay. Do you want to start off with, I guess, let's start off, we can brief up, maybe update what happened in the past, because I know your story is kind of out there quite a bit. You have a couple other podcasts out there and some interviews that you have done. And again, we can reference those into the podcast after we're done with it. Just to make sure that people are steered into the right direction. So if they want a little more backdrop on what you say today, then they're willing to do that just because we're on a time schedule. And I hate to do that because I know a lifelong of issues and horrible traumatic events that have happened, not only to you, but to your children. I know it's way longer than an hour to two, but what we're going to do is we're going to try to brief up and sum up kind of what happened in the beginning, and then we'll start to present day, if that's what you want to do.
Turn down.
We can try that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so let's go back to the shelter.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll keep it as brief as I can. With the very beginning, we were at 2016, we were at a homeless shelter in Tulsa, and the people, the CPS, they were called on us. We were there with Nigel, who was our son Nigel. He was over a year old, a year and 6 months, and I was pregnant with our younger son Timogen, and I mean he was 2 months away from being born, and it's about 7 months pregnant, something like that. And
Give me a second.
Okay. And while we were at the shelter, some people saw some things that they took out of context and called CPS. And a day before we got housing, CPS came to visit us, and we didn't exactly exercise our rights because it's hard to exercise our rights at a shelter. So we just talked to them within what's the word? Within
reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were pretty cooperative at the time because we didn't really realize how bad they were and what they're all about.
Well, I knew how bad they were, but I'm not on the global scale that they were. So I knew I had to keep it at a minimum, basically. And
okay.
So we just told them. We just answered some of their questions.
They basically went there, saw that our kid was fine. There was no abuse. Everything's fine. He's in good shape, and we thought that was the end of it.
Yeah, well, we got our housing the next day, our apartment, and not this apartment, but a couple apartments back, and they about a week or so later they came and checked on us. The case wasn't closed yet, but they said they saw where Nigel, our older son, they saw where he sleeps, and everything seemed okay. They even told us the case was closed. And then about 2 months go by, nothing. We don't hear anything from anyone. And then I have a scheduled C-section at the hospital with Timogen. And 3 days after that, well, actually 2 days after that, they came back, CPS. They came back. because I don't think they ever really left.
Usually they don't, and that's the problem. A lot of people don't realize once
they
they
were
open that door, yeah, and they
I
put
agree.
yeah. So what was the reason? What was the report this time that they came back?
What they said was, like I said, I had a C-section, and Nigel was home with Reggie. I mean, Reggie was there for the first part. I mean, while I had the C-section and while I was being prepped for it, and a little bit there to take care of Timogen, and then he had to go back and be with Nigel. Someone had been watching over Nigel, but they couldn't for the whole time, so he had to go back to the apartment with Nigel, just the two of them, while I'm at the hospital with Timogen. And then the same CPS worker that told us that the case was closed, her name's Courtney Decken, by the way, and she comes back and says that the hospital had, and I was weak, by the way. I was weak. I had a C-section and I was anemic. So
wow.
I was needing a lot of extra help. And this is the truth. I was needing a lot of extra help. And
basically, what happened? She had physically exhausted, physical breakdown, and they're trying to make it out to be a mental breakdown.
Yeah, I needed a lot of extra help, and so and I hadn't even taken care of a newborn in quite a while anyway, so I can remember a lot of things. And he helped me the first time with Nigel. So there's all.
I've had seven kids, and each and every pregnancy, when I have them, I sit there and I go, "Oh my god," because they're all different too. You know what I mean? Babies are different. That doesn't mean you're a bad parent. Just like you got to get back in the swing of things sometimes. You know?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So I just asked for extra help from the nurses, and they basically treated me like I was a monster.
Right. So they basically looks like they're going to take the newborn. So they come to check on Nigel. Now, I'm not worried about them checking on him because I know he's fine. There's been no abuse. He's in good shape. Everything's fine.
Right.
And then they take him, they check on him, and they're waiting to go home, playing with him for about 20 minutes. I'm surrounded by men. They snatch him, surrounded by men with guns, and ask me, am I starving Nigel?
So, so they basically just came in there and just assumed you were starving your child? Malnutrition?
They gave him a physical, which I wasn't allowed to go at the time. I wasn't aware of how CPS worked at the time. I thought they was taking him to a doctor. No, they're taking him to one of their go-to pediatricians. And when you give them a kid, you give them a case.
Especially this one. Her name's Sarah Passmore.
Yeah, Passmore.
Dr. Passmore.
Right. If you give her a kid, she'll give you a case.
Yeah.
So I go to pediatrician. Go to pediatrician. Yeah. If you give them a kid, they give you a case, and we can prove that over and over and over.
Yeah, and we can prove that she had lied back then about Nigel's weight.
Yeah, lied about his weight.
And she even he was normal weight and normal height.
Yeah, at the time, and they act like he was not.
Yeah, when she was examining, he was normal weight and normal height, and she lied about that, saying he was off the chart, and she didn't even mention his height, and.
So basically,
we had already decided to take the newborn.
We have that documentation, right? We provided that.
That would be on. You showed it to me last night. So
right. No, I'm just confirming that we have it so everybody knows.
The date would be June 20. You're looking for the date of June 24th, 2016.
Okay, so we have. Let's see here. Like I said, guys, bear with me. I apologize. So we have right here, there's documents in chronicle order. We also have what the medical records are, and I believe this is the one that you were speaking of, correct?
Oh,
that's an envelope.
Well, that's a email to this time around to the then permanency worker. That was about the ER reports from the second time the boys were taken, but there's going to be a chart that shows what Nigel weighed on June 24th of 2016, which is the day they took both boys for the first time ever. And you did have it on a screenshot last night.
Yes, I did. Let's see if we can find it in here again. Oh, there it is. Okay, I believe that is it.
Right.
Is this correct?
That's more from the CDC. That's something from the CDC and the WHO. That's something we had pulled up online. So it was the other thing from last night.
Okay, let's see. We have a couple other emails here. We have this one. We have, geez, we just had it too. This is ER. I apologize. Let's see if we can
It'll
scroll
be- that
down
one,
here.
the one I just talked about will be in the PDF file.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, if I can't find it on here, what I'll do is I'll add it. I do apologize because I thought I had it set to the side for you guys.
Okay. The thing to remember is it does show that he was normal weight and normal height, and she lied about that on the petition because the
Right.
petition said that he. I mean, they rounded it down on the petition for reasons for removal. That's also in the PDF file. She rounded it down and left his height off completely. I mean, didn't say anything about his height. Just saying that he was off the chart, and the only reason she could come to that conclusion is that the parents were not feeding him properly. And that gave, and of course, that had given DHS the green light to get both the boys. I mean, that lie. That
Right,
fraud.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
yeah.
she's known for, isn't that what she specifically does?
Yes.
She's
Give her
known-
drugs and keep your case. That's what she's known for.
Okay. Yeah. So,
See, it's not like you can take them to your doctor and prove that they're fine. No, they have to go to their doctor.
amazing. And that's not surprising, actually, because the courts do it. They have paid counselors, they have paid doctors, they take advantage of that. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's what either keeps the kids in the system or just keeps them at bay for another program to get involved, unfortunately.
Right. And see, the problem is, I bring up again, you have judges and DAs who rubber stamp anything CPS hands to them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And CPS says, go to doctors. You go to them, they'll give you a case. So
Right.
you get stuff rubber stamped from the DA and the judge without any evidence whatsoever, just CPS's word.
Right.
And they can get court orders enriched, and they don't need a warrant. Hello, people. They don't need a warrant to take your children. Figure that out. They don't need it. You say, you can't come to my house without a warrant. Yes, they can. Yes, they can.
They'll claim that it's an emergency.
They'll claim whatever they need to claim. They'll get a
Usually
writ,
that's
a court order, and
Uh,
then men with guns will come in and take your children, and they can keep them without a jury trial. You
Yeah.
don't get a jury trial. Sorry, jury trials are out. You don't get one. But the only way you can get a jury trial at this time, if it's a termination trial. But they're trying, even now, as we speak, they're trying to change that, where you don't even get a jury termination trial.
Besides that, you shouldn't have to have a jury to see your own kids. That's the way I see it.
I know, but people have to understand what's going on in America. They
Yeah,
can take
I
them
mean,
without a warrant
yeah.
and keep them without a jury trial.
Right. Right. It's the violation of due process.
Yes.
You that's pretty much what it is.
That's what we're talking about. With the two cases, as bad as it was the first time they took him, the second time they were so blatant and so outrageous, it's unbelievable. Because they had a sworn affidavit to enable them to get the court order and the writ, so they could take our children, and that has been misproven by the ER report. Now I'm bringing up the ER report for whatever reason. Their go-to pediatrician wasn't in that night.
Mm-hmm.
So they're so arrogant, they sent them to the ER. Well, the ER came back. If you read the ER report and you go over to fine-tooth comb, you find out that the children were fine. There was no malnutrition. Both were well within their weight for their age group. There were no dark circles mentioned anywhere. So if they had dark circles, where are the time-step photographs? Where are they at?
Right.
Right, but they can say it, no proof, and they only prove that they purged themselves. It don't mean anything. They go on to purge themselves. Now, this is the second time around in 2020. They go on to perjure themselves in court, and the very one who perjured himself in court is the one who signed off on the ER report, which once again is proven. The ER report proves that now this is true. Mm-hmm. And then the DA tried to withhold the ER report from discovery, and when it's shown to him by our lawyer, he still continues to prosecute. He's shown beyond a shadow of a doubt that he had to perjure himself to get a written court order that night, and he still continues to prosecute. Mm-hmm.
So he was never held accountable then either.
No. And top it all off, at our what's the trial? Adjudication trial, the judge changes our sworn testimony on the final judgment.
So on are you talking about like the transcripts, the actual legal documentation? They changed everything?
Not the
not
the final judgment.
The final judgment. No, it's on. what she says in the final judgment, if you had the transcript, you would see that we never said this. That's what we're saying. We did not say it. And what's worse than that, if there can be something worse, that changed testimony on the final judgment never said, if you look at the transcript, you can't find it. It was critiqued by their go-to pediatrician. Now, every judge knows when you send a jury out, and every judge knows this, even if there is not a jury, you're considered nothing outside the testimony you heard inside this courtroom. Right. So where, when, and how did she get this critique from the Passmore, the go-to pediatrician, on our changed sworn testimony?
We have some pretty
judgment.
We've looked her up too, and she's got some bad, nasty reviews about her. I don't even know how she's still in practice, but I guess it's a filtering money train. So
they have her because they need a case. They need somebody to lock it up, so they send them to her, and she locks it up. Yeah. Just like in on last time they had them, after they went to the ER and they're proven to be fine, they sent them 4 days later to their go-to pediatrician. We never got the report on our youngest, but we got a report on the oldest, and she put down on it isolation and neglect. There was nothing in her report that was wrong with them, but she put down isolation and neglect. Now, how do you get that from a stethoscope? No, she put down on her medical report what was told to her by somebody else.
Oh, by CPS.
No, by CPS. So I saw a Martian. Well, let's put that down in the medical report.
Right.
Do you have any proof of this? No. Do you have any photographs of these dark circles around the eyes? No. Did anybody at the ER report seeing dark circles around their eyes? No. Oh, they're malnourished. How come both of them are well within their weight for their age group? Oh, and they passed all their physical tests with flying colors.
Yeah, they were both normal weight. For
their
age
normal
group.
weight and in fine health.
So there was also another issue that happened, and due to censorship, we have to be cautious with our words, guys. So what happened was they had tried to also take the kids due to trying to violate their religious and moral beliefs. And because of that happening, do you guys want to explain what happened after they took the children? Did they force them? You said they forced them to have whatever they needed anyways?
Because of the condition our oldest is in now, we believe that this was something was done medically to them against our knowledge or will. That was never reported. And even in the trial, the go-to pediatrician said, we did not do this, but even if we did, this could not be the cause for his medical condition.
Right. So he was fine prior to him being taken, and then they had caused him to have something medically done to him, and then he had appeared with some more health issues due to that, correct?
Right. Autism, basically.
It's a severe
autism.
Severe
neurological damage.
Severe neurological damage, yes.
And we also have a video of that too, which again, after the podcast, I will attach that included into that, so people are steered to that. People need to see that there was nothing wrong. He was walking, he was talking, or so for his age.
Oh, they said he could neither walk nor talk when they took him. They said that.
Right.
Back in 2016. He could neither walk nor talk, and then we had that video showing walking and talking.
About 2 weeks before.
Right.
Oh my goodness. So far, wow.
It just gets worse and worse.
So
it just gets more outrageous.
Do you want to finish up where you're at, or do you want me to play this video? You can explain what this video is that I'm going to press play on real quick to everybody.
I don't know.
Well, just so everybody is clear, we have the kids now. The case closed on January 19th of this year, so they're no longer wards of the state. We have them, and we're just demanding justice, of course. So.
And we're trying to make sure this doesn't happen to other people in the future.
Yeah, and we want Nigel healed.
Yeah,
I think that's number one key out of everything.
A lot of work, time, and effort to get him better. We have a lot of debts piled up from our legal fees, so it's going to be a long, hard haul. That's why we have the Gibson and Go.
Right. That's actually
and for the record, this shirt right here.
You're not showing very well.
You got to stand back up. You got to back up a little bit because we can't see it.
Okay. Can you see now?
Okay, there you go. Stand up a little. Yep, back up just a little bit more.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, these shirts are not currently on sale, but we did have them on sale for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
I just wanted to show it.
It's a good shirt.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So
it's not okay, Oklahoma.
So before I play the video, do you want to explain what's entailed in your Give Send Go link? Because that is, as of right now, attached into the link. So if anyone was to go onto the live and watch what we're doing right now, they would be able to click on the link and look into that. You want to kind of prepare someone before they open the link on what to expect?
It was put in there by a friend, and it's a general description.
Okay.
It has a video from one of his interviews. So, I mean, it
pretty much tells the story, but basically it's about taking care of expenses and legal fees that we still owe money, and future medical expenses for our eldest child.
Yeah, and it even mentions my unlawful arrest from the second time they took them because I wouldn't hand the boys over. That criminal case was dropped back in August of last year.
Yeah, they had charges on her, and if she had been found guilty, she could have been in jail for 3 years.
Yeah, the county jail, not prison, the county jail. Yeah.
Why did they? I mean, I'm pretty sure we all know it was illegal, but what transpired that they wound up dropping the charges after they had arrested you?
They didn't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
I mean, when the jury gets all this information, if anything, it causes them problems. So just drop the case.
Yeah, but they still had me on bond for 2.5 years, which is wrong. Yeah, and I had been beaten up, and I'm not getting any justice for that. The 2 deputies beat me up. And after the Tulsa Police Department passed this off to the Sheriff's Department, they come in there, storm our home, beat me up, arrest me, beat me up. Yeah,
that's another thing I want people to know. The police were basically outside our door back in 2020 all day long. And the CPS kept trying to encourage them, go in, get those kids, go in and get the kids. And they said, no, not until we get like a writ or a court order.
Mm-hmm.
And when the writ and court order came down, the police department here in Tulsa refused to act on it. They told CPS to get the Sheriff's Department to do it for them. Because, I believe why they refused to act on it, because they had lost their qualified immunity by their actions taken earlier in the day.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Wow. Okay, I'm going to play the video. I think it's is this one 3 minutes long? I'm going to press play, and if there's any point in time that you want me to stop and you want to explain something, just give me, a wave or something, or say something, and I'll stop it for you, okay?
Okay.
So in the very beginning, guys, there is just a little bit just to read. So there is no noise, or volume in the very beginning, but then you will hear in the recording what the police officers are saying and what's transpiring throughout the video. There might be a few times that I believe they don't they mute their mic at one point in time?
At the beginning, we muted it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's after the workers' phone footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in between. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to.
Then you can hear what lines up with my testimony where it's muted.
Okay.
Yeah, because a friend of ours put it in there, and it lines up what they told me. I mean, what those officers told me.
Yeah, I just wanted to forewarn people so they didn't think there was anything wrong with the audio. So, okay, I'm gonna press play now. And like I said, if you want me to stop, just say, "Hey, pause. We want to say something real quick." Okay, if you want to interject. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so we're here at this house.
I don't need a warrant. Need a warrant.
Don't do this.
I'm gonna take you to jail. If I break that door, you're gonna go to jail. You caused me to break that door, you're gonna go to jail. Open it up and talk to this.
That's all because I wouldn't there time. That's all because she wouldn't talk to the workers. She's exercising the right not to talk to a state agent, and he's threatening to break down the door and arrest her only because she will not talk to the workers. Not that there's any danger, the kids are any danger.
Was this the first time?
Yeah,
this is the first time?
This is in 2020.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna arrest you for child endangerment if you don't open the door and talk to the workers.
Threatened to arrest for not talking.
I didn't know that was a crime in Oklahoma. Jeez.
That's a 5-year-old. Wow. small.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Well,
What's she normally take? She's all blue in the mouth, and what's she take?
Another lie. When she was arrested, there's no report of anything blue. They're saying that her mouth is blue, trying to act like she's on drugs. Show any pictures, anything from her pictures taken when she was arrested that shows she has blue lips. There's nothing.
Yeah, even,
Another lie.
Yeah, even 7 hours later, and the camera would even show here.
Yeah. Just like the dark circles, the blue lips was a lie. But they didn't try to bring that forth in discovery. I wonder why.
Right.
Yeah, that would be something that would be assessed on.
Gotcha. I didn't know she'd had history.
Yeah, they keep trying the door. The door's locked. They keep trying the door. And we believe they tried the door from the front too. Luckily, it was locked. I was not there at the time, and things may be being in lower upper because I would have told them all.
If she comes back out, just I guess let me look right here.
This is just insane. They're acting like you guys are criminals or fugitives or something, you know, when
Exactly. And they can see the kids running around. They see kids are fine.
Yeah, and they were there just so they could take them to Passmore.
Yeah, take them to Passmore, and you give her a kid, she'll give you a case.
And all they had at this time, when they're doing this, all they had was a DHS referral. Nothing.
No court order.
No,
nothing.
Wow, and they're acting like this. This is insane. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they gotta get them to Passmore.
Gotta get them Passmore. Gotta have a case.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, where are the children? Are they actually in the house in the back, or where are the kids?
I took them to the bedroom.
Yeah, they were in there, right there. They could see them run around, see they were fine, and then she took them away into this bedroom where she's knocking on the window.
I can't even imagine these kids on how they, felt with all this ruckus going on, and Jesus, with the police at their door, beating, banging, and you guys are hiding in the back. Jesus, what a terrible thing.
But I'm just trying to. Well,
I
this
think that's the neighbor, isn't it?
I can't tell.
Because these two go together.
Is that a front window? Okay, then this is probably the neighbor.
It wasn't neighbors. It was our window. But they wasn't sure.
So we can kick the door in unless we get like an order or something to do that.
She's saying that they can't kick the door in unless they have an order. She's admitting
Exactly.
it.
But yet they were trying.
Yeah.
I mean, a little.
They tried both doors to see if they were open.
You can see how they were contradicting themselves.
Yeah.
They say they can't do something, but yet they tried.
Mm-hmm. That's why they're trying so hard for her to open the door and just give them up to children, threaten her with arrest if she doesn't.
Wow. I've seen cops attend, and approach a situation with CPS as a scare tactic, but I don't think I've ever seen something as this drastic over, especially bringing your child into a supposed doctor's office. I mean, this is just beyond nuts.
Now,
geez, can I ask how many cops were there? Oh my
They're
goodness.
not real sure. There were a lot.
At least 4 that you see there, at least.
And one time, I haven't seen it yet. And one time, if you look closely, you'll see 2 cops at the front window. And it looks like they went over and tried to check the door, tried to see if it was unlocked.
Yes, God only knows how many.
See, this is actually our back door. It's glass, and that's why it's so clear here. But that's actually the back door.
Yeah, and clearly none of these people have ever heard of the Fifth Amendment.
Right.
Right. Clearly.
Yeah. So she just went there, came up something, and that window doesn't reach that door.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I couldn't tell. I thought it was hers. There's a little girl hair thingy kind of stuck in it, and it's partially open, but it's. I mean, you feel free. She scared those kids to death.
I know.
No, you scared those kids.
You're not scaring them, beating on their house windows and doors? Wow.
Yeah.
It's like the big bad wolf.
I scared them by not opening the door and bowing down to authority.
Yeah.
Last time Kirsty was here, she just came to the window and said, and walked off.
I can't tell what she's taking. Yeah. I mean, everything you see in her mouth. She's all blue in her mouth.
Another lie.
Oh, no. And that's why I asked her, I said, this looks like the back looks like a map. She's like, where's the door I came to last time?
Yeah, French on the inside floor.
Poor kids.
Who's coming up? Not to the hope she doesn't know. I'm calling the DA now.
Is he running her?
Yeah.
Is he? He's not gonna have a.
Yeah, they're trying to run my wife right now for warrants. Anything to justify them busting in the door.
But they already said they didn't need any warrant.
Right. I don't need a warrant. You don't get to talk to a lawyer.
And you guys have never had any criminal history prior to any of this, right?
Yeah.
No.
They must have been searching really hard then to find nothing, huh?
Right.
Yep.
See, any justification so they didn't break down the door without a warrant.
Wow. Yeah, well, we see in our county like 54 or something.
You want to count?
No. Push the reference. You are around county.
Records isn't.
What's
isn't
mom's
catching
first
them
name?
anymore. You can't run them on
First
those.
name.
Mom's first name.
Tamsin.
Tamsin. Is that first name?
Tamsin?
Also, a lot of the reports, didn't they have this address wrong?
Yep.
Yeah, they had address wrong too.
This is just unbelievable. How long did this last for?
That lasted for a while, and then I was at the store. She contacted me, and I got back, and I was careful coming in because I didn't want to be arrested on the way in.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked around. There were CPS workers at the back, but there weren't any at the front at the time. So I just walked in front. Once I got in there, CPS workers tried to talk to me. I didn't want to talk to them. I basically told them off. Later on, more police arrived. It's not on the video. I still told them I am not opening that door without a warrant. I wish to speak. I have none said to you. I wish to speak to a lawyer.
As far as you know, that was still TPD. Right?
Yeah,
That's just
yeah. That's still PP. Yeah.
Okay.
The sheriff's department didn't come till late at night. They
Okay.
weren't involved anyway until then.
Okay.
Well, that was
Okay.
different police.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That was different police than what you see here later on when I got back home.
Yeah, these cowards probably went away for good. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I wanted to make sure I got in and made a meal so we could have dinner. If we're all going to be arrested, we're going to eat first.
Might as well have the Last Supper, right?
Right? Exactly.
All
I knew
right.
it was only going to get bad, so we're going to eat.
Mhm.
Then whatever happens, happens.
Right. Hey, nothing better than having a full meal. Huh. All right, let's go on with the show.
The one that was right this side. Looks like a 3-year-old. Yeah.
Oh my God. I thought they were like 2 and 3.
Yeah, they look really little. Well, that's what I said. Trying to get an order. Let me text it. Let me look. I might have it.
Jeez,
That's bold not to open for the police though.
that's bold. You're at their door with no warrant.
Oh yeah, I got it.
I mean,
That's
right.
pretty bold. I mean, that's usually like
Well, that's why I'm like,
Okay.
I can't believe, and then I'm like, I can't believe she's doing that in front of you. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Wow, these people really feel they're gods, huh?
Oh, yeah. And see, even like these police don't realize this is the second time it's happened. There's a reason why Tamsin's acting like this. All the
Right.
bull we went through the first time, all the lies and deceit we went through the first time. We know what CPS is. There's no way we're going to cooperate with them again.
Right. Definitely understandable. They want you to bow down to them and to act
Exactly.
scared and timid. Exactly.
Mhm.
And then when you act out and when you have concern and compassion for your children, you're pegged as crazy, unfortunately.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, they're in their eyes, not in our eyes,
hello. If you really are trying to protect your children,
She's grabbing them and running.
yeah. And they're
Yeah.
scared.
They're trying to come over here.
Yeah.
had to do 45 jump.
I wish she would have been.
What did she say? She wished she would have what? I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch it either. But also, when this all happened, there was really a hatchet job done by the local crime reporter on my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And we sent all the facts into her. And she never did a follow-up. And when all charges was dropped against my wife, she never did that either. All the time when charges are dropped against somebody she did an article on, she always showed where charges are dropped. She did not do it for my wife. She did a great hatchet job on her back in January 2020. But then when all charges are dropped and we get our kids back, not a mention, not a word.
Of course not. Of course not. That would be too nice of them to do something.
Yeah, it's not.
They'd have to humble. Yeah, they would have to humble themselves and swallow their pride a little bit, I guess.
Right.
There.
But the way that she had to pick him up to stand, set him up too.
Stay in mind, saying that she had to pick up Nigel. Nigel had been running around, and the only reason she had to pick him up because that was get him up and get him out of there because he sat down. He didn't realize what was going on.
Right.
Yeah, I was on a sworn affidavit saying that I had to pick him up. He appeared so weak that I had to pick him up.
Yeah, and they seen him run around easier before then.
But the footage shows that the very first thing they saw was both boys rocking around.
Yeah. But now he's so weak, she had to help him out.
So they've already pegged him for malnutrition and her being a drug abuser right through the glass door.
Yes.
Amazing. Awesome.
And dark circles around the eyes, which no proof of that either.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
And it was just proven later at the ER report.
This is Charmaine. I'm out here.
Any kind of justification, get in that door. Get those
Yep.
kids.
We have an investigation with the.
Yeah, I think that window's like this.
Yeah, like
this
it's
this
back,
window.
this,
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Hopefully, no one's home. Probably scared to death.
We're out here now with law enforcement. We actually, first time we were able to lay eyes on the kids from inside the home. And they're 5 and 3, but the 5-year-old, he does not look 5. He looks like they don't look 5 and 3. They look younger. We have history with this family in 2017.
Extreme concerns. That's a go-to password
Then weren't they returning
for
to
CPS. Extreme concerns. She's on the phone with the DA right now, trying to get a verbal order so they can get in. Extreme concerns.
something like that?
Carrie's been in custody like 2 months.
They were in custody for a couple
Maybe
of
she's in
months.
there flushing her drugs down the toilet.
Yeah,
and
they
she
were in
opens the
custody
door.
for
Yeah.
a few months.
Be a whole different person. Hi,
Yeah.
come on in.
Guys like a drink? I mean, yeah.
Welcome to my home.
2017. So
It's disgusting how they're sitting there, kee-hee and ka-ha-ing like it's
Yeah,
a
the
joke.
same-
They're all laughing. They're all cracking jokes.
The same
I thought
thing-
kids were in danger.
The same thing later on when the sheriff's deputies come. Showtime. It's all funny to them.
Yeah,
It's all a
we're
big
live. We're live.
Yeah.
Mhm.
they're not like they'll just look at us and walk away from the door. Then they grab it. She just came to the door and she's grabbing the kids and running to different rooms and opening the door for us to get these kids in. So we're wanting to get an order so we can take them to the justice center. Like the kids around their eyes are like dark.
See? Around their eyes. No, sorry. Send them to the ER. They're nothing. Their eyes were fine.
It doesn't even look like the lights are on in your house. I mean, how would they even
Exactly.
Mhm.
But they're trying to see. She's talking to the DA, trying to justify a verbal order so they bust down the door. No, I think the only reason DA didn't give it to her is because a verbal order might not stand up in court. So he's going to wait till they get a writ and court order before they go in.
I just don't even understand how they can stand there, blatantly lie, even while on camera.
Because that's what they do for a living. See, that's my problem with CPS. I know they lie all the time. Matter of fact, now we know they can lie under oath and get away with it. And there's no doubt in my mind, but the DA and the judge both knows they were lying under oath. They don't care.
And they cover it up. That's
Yeah.
the worst part about it.
Footage right here wasn't even given to. They covered.
Right? They tried
ballots.
to withhold and hide this police video, and the only reason we got it, we worked to get it. Our attorneys couldn't get it for us. We finally got it, but we got it after the adjudication.
Yeah, and we were never even to this day allowed to present it in court.
Right.
Wow.
It's coming from the front. I'm like,
Yeah, no, we were looking at that person. They were
Yeah,
carrying
you
like
see, I'm
wood
like-
or something to the trash.
I'm like, come around here first.
But could that not?
Well, no, I guess just have to have an order
To take
you
you
out.
out.
She's not trying to let us, even with law enforcement, she's telling them no. He's telling her you're gonna go to jail. Open the door so they can see you. Huh?
Can I ask real quick? Prior to them being there for this doctor's visit that they wanted so bad, how long was the time span from when the last time they actually had a normal pediatrics office, like say a physical or whatever?
2017.
2017.
So
See, we hadn't regularly sent him to a doctor because there was no, physically there's nothing wrong with him. Except for Nigel's autism, he was fine.
So typically they just went to the doctors like a normal kid once a year for a physical.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And they didn't even have the proper, the last time they did go, they didn't even have that, did they?
Proper.
When we sent a doctor, they didn't have all the information on the different times we sent to a doctor.
I don't think so.
Like the last time we sent to a doctor, they had no even mention of it. So they really didn't know what was going on. It's just looking for justification to get in. Because who says you have to send your kids to a wellness appointment? If your kids are fine, show me where you have to send them.
This is because this is considered an emergency because the neighbor reported them. I mean, allegedly, had reported them looking skinny.
Some people are just built that way. Listen, when I was younger, I had a thyroid problem. Okay, and when I was little, I could actually eat and eat and eat and eat and not gain any weight at all. Okay, it had to do with the thyroid. And if anyone
They
would
were just little boys, but they still were losing their weight. So
right?
How could they be malnutritious? Because both of them, according to the chart, both of them are fine.
Well, we have to weigh them by someone.
Yeah, but
we don't have to weigh them though. This was forced here. I mean, even if it's our own doctor.
Yeah, but once they find out they're fine, do they give them back and say, "Whoops, we made a mistake"? No, they double down and try to come up with a reason to keep them.
And try to hide the ER reports.
Yeah.
That was the next question I was going to ask you. So they didn't even request for you guys to take them to your own doctors prior to this woman?
No, they won't allow you to take them to your own doctor.
Of course.
You have to send them to go to the pediatrician.
Of course. Of course.
You can say to them, "I'm more willing to send them to the doctor, but I want to send my doctor." No, that's not how it works. You have to send them to our doctor.
He said we have to type up an affidavit. You can't give a verbal because it's before 4 o'clock. I'm like, if we leave,
It's an emergency. Yeah, if we leave and she's
So it'd be one thing if CPS is fair and above board, but that's not how they work.
gotta wait.
Yeah.
Is due. I mean, even if you leave and come back, she's gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
Emergency service, so when we come back, there's gonna be here.
Yeah. Hey, Matt said no, he's not giving a verbal.
See, Matt, the DA would not give her a verbal order.
ADA.
ADA, yeah.
Something may happen. Like now, if we had a verbal order, they would be.
What are they going to do? Wither away and disappear? I mean,
yeah.
But because we don't have an order, we can't.
unbelievable.
He says the judge is going to yell.
Now you're gonna call me out and not call anyone else out.
The time.
That was calling me out.
And I told you,
It wasn't.
They look like they're malnourished.
I mean,
And she's grabbing.
Excuse me, will you please come to the door?
After you scare the shit out of her.
What did you say?
please come to the door.
What did he say first?
Yes.
Did he actually say search warrant? Sounded like it. He didn't have a search warrant.
I'm sorry?
It sounded like he said search warrant, come to the door.
No, I think he said, please come to the door.
Well, I caught that part, but I thought it said something at first.
Yeah.
Anyway, they didn't have a search warrant.
They're laughing again, like it's a joke.
Yeah, they think it's funny.
Yep.
You don't got cable. Get it on for Can you like that?
I'm not sure. She didn't answer.
Now, see, he sees a piece of plastic on the wall here, and he tries it in case it's something that can open up. So he's literally trying to break in right now.
What did you say? There was a piece of plastic on the wall? And
Plastic on the wall, and he's lifting it, see if it's a latch thing. They'll lift it up, like a garage.
Wow.
So he's illegally trying to break in right now. See, if he can get in without actually breaking anything, he's going to do it. That's what he's trying to do right now. He's checking out that piece of plastic.
You could see him in the reflection too doing.
There was never physical abuse of the kids, right? There wasn't any physical abuse.
No physical, just consensual under.
Okay. Okay. I just was trying to, you know what I mean? I don't want to be upset and go in there and do something ridiculous. Okay.
Wow.
There were people that saw the kids and would bring food over here to the house for the kids. And then when they tried to bring it another time, she got mad and said no. She wouldn't take the food.
Well, you're making accusations that some child is malnutrition, not knowing what's going on in the home, and you're just randomly bringing. I'd get a little upset too.
Yeah.
Did you ever get the chance to confront these neighbors by any chance?
One neighbor.
The one neighbor, she denied it.
Yeah, she came to our door and acted like she didn't know what we were talking
Right.
about.
She denied it, that she had anything to do with it.
Oh, goodness.
And for the record, I did not get mad when we refused the food from her. I never got mad.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. She brought us food, and being like good neighbor, it's like a welcoming thing, sure. But then she brought us food again, and I said, no, thank you, don't need it. Because we didn't. We had plenty of food. We didn't need your food.
So you didn't know there was a malicious, there's some maliciousness behind that.
No, I did not know that.
In what her tactic was.
No, at first I just thought it was a friendly neighbor. Okay, no problem.
Well, that's what you call a snake right there.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
I don't think I ever made contact. Yeah.
Yes.
And also, even though there's video and film of me when I get there from the CPS workers, that never showed up anywhere.
Wow.
It showed up in Discovery or anything.
She's gonna call.
That's just amazing. Okay, so there's another video here as well. And I think this is where they forcefully
The sheriff's
arrest
deputy?
you.
Yeah.
Right.
That's kind of fun for me to watch.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm watching. That's
Okay, because if there is any point in time that you want me to stop that, I don't have a problem with doing that for you, okay?
right.
So don't hesitate to say, that's enough.
Although this right here is when they've over arrested her and she's at the jailhouse.
You said you don't want to hear anything, don't you?
Are you talking to me, Timothy?
Yeah.
Well, I said I don't really. It's kind of painful for me to watch that sheriff's deputy interaction, but I can watch it.
I'm talking about they're never gonna give me one, never let you down.
I guess
That was cute.
This is them right here. They've already arrested you.
Yeah.
I'm not involved in this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find out in here.
Oh.
There's no joy. I wish she didn't.
I want to recall him and see if it works. We'll get him down.
They crashed right in front of us. That's what he was about to say. We're about to come afterwards. He was like, oh my fucking God. That's what he was saying.
Listen, but hang on. We're not going to argue. We're not going to argue about that. Okay. I'm going to give you a direct order to step out of this car, and if you refuse, we have to drag you back. It's going to be another resistance. So I need you to step out. It's too late for talking. Step out of the car. Step out of the car. Step out of the car.
Like it's too late for talking. You arrest her. You made up false charges, but it's too late for talking.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
They've arrested her. They made up false charges, but it's too late for talking. They said that she tried to bite them, but that's nowhere on the video.
Right.
And we're going to finish our paperwork. That's what we're going to do. You need to step out. You are the subject of this paperwork now.
Where are you taking me?
We're at the Tulsa County Jail.
The obstruction of one obstruction led to
Yeah. Our law enforcement judge
do our duty. You got in the way of us doing our duty by barricading the door, by grabbing the children and running. It doesn't matter on that part. Our job was to come and get the children, and you obstructed us. That is the end of the story. Step out of the car.
I had a right to take my children.
Step out of the car. This is your last warning. I will pull you out of that car in 3 seconds. All right. Are you gonna step out? Are you stepping out? I just told you I'm going to drag you out of that car if you don't step out right now. We're going to walk you into the jail.
Come on, you've already started. Come on, just finish it. We're walking in here.
Well, an hour to the month have dogs.
Okay. Okay, I don't think you'll like our dog, but
No, you're not. You're going to be out.
step out.
So they never bring anyone by there to calmly talk to her, explain things to her. Escalate, escalate, threat, 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 threat.
I've been doing this a long time. I don't care what they're telling me I haven't heard before.
See, that's the problem there is they categorize every situation when they're dealing with children or CPS as if it's all the same instead of actually stepping outside of the box and thinking that not that they care too, or they probably ever will, but it's just the point to prove that these people are just heartless. They can care less how they're destroying.
Right. If my wife made any mistake that night, it's like trying to talk to these people like they were human.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's the biggest mistake. You
Certain
can't reason with an agent of the state.
Yeah, and I didn't do that the whole time, just at certain points because I probably didn't know what else to say.
And the reason they were brought in, because the police knew what was going on and refused to act on it. The sheriff's department didn't know what was going on, and they're just order takers.
Yep. Puppets. Yep.
Yeah. Like I even brought up to her defense attorney, just following orders didn't fly in Nuremberg, and it's not going to fly here.
Yep.
You are in the wrong.
She's right about that. They are definitely cowards.
I want to know. What hard my children in? Just answer that. Just answer that.
Get out of the car.
I want to know what harm you saw. I was taking my children.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my children. I was protecting my children. No, please tell people.
In contact, I think. Oh, wait a minute. You're probably good, Golly.
Wow.
People need to understand this wasn't the first time they've done this. This is the second time around. I understand the feelings going on here. You know your children are fine. You know you've done nothing wrong, but we're the state. We're going to take them. We don't care, and we're going to throw you in jail because you tried to resist us. Ha ha. Well, I think they wanted to throw me in jail that night or worse, but I didn't act up. Because from the minute they stepped in that door, they were escalating. From the minute they stepped in.
Yeah, and all I did was go to a closet with the boys.
Because this is all about us not bowing down to CPS. And they couldn't handle that. We didn't bow down to the state when the state said, give up your children.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. It just amazes me
It's
how much they protect.
Like I said, I don't blame anybody for not believing our story. Because if I hadn't been through it, I wouldn't believe it either. Because it's too blatant, it's too mind-boggling. We have too much proof, but it means nothing.
Oh no, I mean it's what you're saying is just, I mean, it's believable, definitely believable. It's just, you're right. Without having to witness and actually see that, it doesn't put the true emotions behind what you guys went through and what your children went through without actually seeing that. And that's why it's so important for people. I know that's body footage from the cameras, but like to record everything, whether it's on your camera or, you know, somebody else doing it for you, even with copies of emails and documentation. It's so important that families and parents out there need to understand this is why, because people can tell their stories all day long. Right. And even though there could be truth to it, in order to see the actual video footage, it doesn't put the true meaning behind what's going on here. The corruption, the torture, the trauma, you know, everything that a child in a family endures, which is, again, just pure evil, because that's the only word that I can come up with. Now, after that, how long did they keep you in there for?
3 days until he bailed me out.
I had to bail her out. And that was fun too, because I didn't have a cosigner.
Wow.
And most of the bail places without cosigner won't do bail. But I finally found a bailsman, I guess you call him.
Bail bondsman.
Yeah, and we got to rapping back and forth, and both of us are veterans. So next thing you know, she's bailed.
Well, that was good. Thank God.
No, that was good. But I went to several, and they were saying no. Now without a cosigner.
So now after this and you were released, what did they continue harassing you for the doctor's appointment? I mean, I know they wound up going anyways.
The boys are in custody. They sent them to the ER, and 4 days later they sent them to their go-to pediatrician so she could lock in the case.
And that's when she falsified.
We came up with the ER report and trying to show it to the judge. Our genius lawyer says, "Well, you're not doctors, are you? You blah blah blah." She wouldn't understand it. If she had presented that right there to the judge, they probably would have thrown out the case.
A decent lawyer would have gone and gotten a doctor, a lot of these reports, and it would have all been taken care of. But then again, they used fruit of the poisonous tree, so I'm not sure how much that would have been, but it would have been something. No,
might say it's not just us. We took these ER reports to a doctor, to a family doctor. He looked at these ER reports. He said, according to these reports, these children are fine.
But by then it had been too late because they had already drawn up an amended petition.
Right.
Wow. So
and I might mention, they said, appeal. Well, the judge and our own lawyers sabotaged that appeal. We tried to appeal this case, and it was sabotaged.
And that was a private attorney that we had.
So, wow, you guys didn't even get the chance to appeal.
No, you didn't get a chance to appeal. No.
We
tried. And one of the reasons our Supreme Court of Oklahoma gave, well, it's not a termination trial. That's one of the reasons they didn't give us appeal. It's not a termination trial.
Right.
I don't care. Oh, sure, all your rights are violated. The children are violated. We've broken all kinds of federal and state statutes. But hey, it's not a termination trial. That's our own Supreme Court.
This should have even gone to adjudication.
Everyone has a right to appeal, whatever, however small, however
big. That's why our Supreme Court said, no, you don't get to appeal. They gave several reasons. It wasn't put in on time, but we did put it in on time. At the time, we're acting pro se. And you're supposed to give them leeway for pro se, even though it wasn't complete, it was handed in on time. And that one of the reasons they gave for also not letting us have appeal is because it wasn't a termination trial. Now, this is the same genius Supreme Court that makes sure you didn't get a jury on justification trials. Yeah. Because used to, in CPS and family court, you got a jury trial. You don't get one anymore. Except for termination. They're trying to do away with that. Even as we speak.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and what does an appeal have to, and by the way, what does an appeal have to do with the state using fraud to win a trial?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That is beyond appeal. That is fraud. There needs to be criminal
charges. Yeah. So that would be
we had other judges afterwards. We had 4 judges in all.
Mm-hmm.
We had the original judge, another judge, another judge, and finally the judge when we got the children back. When we tried to bring these things up, they said, well, we're not going to adjudicate this. You had a chance at appeal.
So technically, it would really
court. Anytime you have new information, you can present to the court. Well, you can't.
Yeah, there is ongoing clear evidence of fraud.
Of fraud. And the judge don't want to look, at least they see. If they saw, they might have to do something. So they're not going to look.
So technically, it should have been a change of venue, and from
You mean like over the federal?
family
Yeah, our
court
lawyers would help with
to
us with that.
Yeah.
criminal.
On the machine.
It's a well-oiled machine, and it goes.
Oh yeah. So
And I tried taking something over to the federal, and they said, "Well, now you need your court file," which I mean that is on their rules, but that shouldn't have mattered in this case. But and the lawyers wouldn't help us with that anyway, and the court clerks won't help with that.
And
So,
they've also
over
made it
juvenile.
very hard to get the transcripts to show that they, the final judgment, they changed their sworn testimony. The judge said it's plain. If you have the transcripts, and if the transcripts give a click, because we didn't say this anywhere in there. In the final judgment, they say that we minimize the children's weights. We never minimize the children's weights, saying, well, they're underweight, but they're okay. No, we always said the weights were fine from the get-go. Because we have the ER report, shows the weights are fine. And then in the final judgment, they're saying we tried to minimize the children's weights. Matter of fact, the final judgment looked like it was written up by the ADA and not the judge.
wow.
Yeah, and one of his last court-appointed attorney had a hold of the transcript. I mean, because that's all she could do, and she was reading to us on the phone, and she just made an excuse about it.
Yeah, made an excuse, but there's no doubt that we never said this thing that's on the final judgment. It's not there.
Yeah, but she was just making excuses.
Yeah.
She didn't do anything about it. No one did anything. There is fraud going on. There are rules set in place that you have to report fraud. Judges have to report fraud. Lawyers, everybody has to report everybody. No one's reported to anybody.
No. And our lawyer could see plainly if they changed their sworn testimony. She did nothing.
Well, like we were talking about last night, they've gotten so comfortable with doing that, and we'll say this all the time because it's going on until things change. They've gotten so comfortable in doing all this that they, like you said, they're not going to do anything. They're just sweeping under the rug as if to say, "Who cares? Nobody's going to do anything."
Violations of due process. Our lawyers from the get-go should have interviewed all the social workers involved.
Mm-hmm.
And when we asked them about this, he said it was her lawyer said I didn't ask because the judge would have said no.
The judge would probably
said no. But the thing is, and here's the thing: if the judge had said no, that's a clear violation of due process, and it would have given us a perfect appeal. See?
Yeah, but that same lawyer.
How outrageous this is.
Yeah, and that same lawyer early on had called the judge a good guy at a conference that we were having.
Let's get every one of these workers on testimony whether or not did these children look malnourished? Did they have dark circles around their eyes? Now, give them to say that, because they all said it. Now, let's get them under oath. Although several people under oath, and later on down the line, if we went to appeal, each one of them had to explain how none of this showed up at the ER report. How can you see what doesn't exist?
You guys have too much evidence for them. That's what bothers them.
It's difference of opinion.
Yeah, difference of opinion. That's the worker who signed off on the ER report in court says a difference of opinion. Well, the doctor's opinion is there are no dark circles. The doctor's opinion is both of them are well within their weight for their age group.
Yeah, that ER doctor, Amanda Madden, she committed medical fraud by putting down a false diagnosis on the ER reports.
Right.
Medical malnutrition.
The diagnosis does not line up with the report. That's why I said we took it to a doctor and had it checked out.
Well, that's more than that.
You can tell that.
Yeah.
And that's more than a difference.
Find this out.
That's more than a difference of opinion, though. Unfortunately, there's the truth and then there's the lie, and that's exactly what
her difference of opinion is perjury in court. She's the one who signed off on the ER reports. Yeah, so if the ER report's wrong, she didn't agree with them. Why did she sign off on them?
Yeah, and that's the long-haired blonde that you saw in the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she gets away with perjury. I get arrested for protecting my children.
And the one that originally testified to allow them to get the court order and the writ on the affidavit.
He shot a good off.
Yeah. There's no proof whatsoever that we can find that she was there that night.
On video or on paper.
Yeah. Can't find any proof that she was there.
She was like a fall guy, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How convenient.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But even if she was there, it's still wrong. But if she wasn't there, even more wrong.
And once again, our genius lawyer, why didn't she have her testify?
That one?
Yeah. Let her say it in court. No. She's just this ghost that nobody ever gets to see, but she can swear on sworn affidavit.
Right. Right. Unreal. Jesus.
Yeah, it is.
So as of right now, I know you said your case is closed. I know you're trying to raise awareness, and you also have your Give Send Go link, as we spoke about earlier in the podcast, for people to look at, because you do have the full extended story along with a video below that, I believe, that somebody had did for you as well. What else are you looking for? I know you said you were talking about justice and accountability. You know,
Well, we're still looking for lawsuits if possible. If we can get sentence talking to some people, and it still may happen. But I also would like prosecution. These people have perjured themselves. They broke laws. From the very beginning, as I said, 2 laws were broken that night that I know of. 18241 and 18242. That's federal statutes. Conspiracy against rights. You had a bunch of people said that they saw dark circles. There are none. Conspiracy against rights. When the police department would not go in and get us, the police department told CPS how to get around that by getting the sheriff. Once again, conspiracy against rights. And when they acted on this, that was acting under color law. They knew they had no legal justification to get the children, yet they still got them. That's under color law. There's 2 federal statutes. They're both felonies, and both of them contain a possible death penalty. Yes, we do want justice.
Yes, this is also federal kidnapping.
Yeah,
1201.
it's felony kidnapping under color of law,
Mhm.
and that's just a fact.
And there's no statute of limitations on kidnapping. And you had told me there's no statute of limitations on systemic abuse.
Systematic abuse.
Systematic abuse. Yeah,
Yep.
and this has been going on since 2016.
So basically, I want restitution. I want prosecution. That's what I want.
And I don't want to hear an attorney say you're out of the scope.
Yeah, it's too late to sue. Showing that's not how it works.
Or to get
No.
prosecutions. No, it can't be. Not with the amount of federal felonies committed.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely well needed and well deserved. Unfortunately,
There's zero evidence of us committing any crime.
Right, and no amount of money is ever going to bring back what was taken. Emotionally from you guys and your children, especially. This is something that they're going to remember because they do remember, right? They do remember some of this stuff. It wasn't that long ago, and although they're little, it was very impressionable. I'm pretty sure of.
Yeah, and they were happy and healthy each time. And the first time, it was my 3-day-old. I mean, right from the hospital. You can't do that. Who does that?
That actually causes a detachment disorder in some children, to where their brains cannot. Their brains cannot connect together because they don't have the bond and the relationship with the parent that they're supposed to have. So they disrupted that, which you don't know, God forbid, down the line, it still can cause some issues. You know what I mean? And then the doctor's going to tell you, well, that's going to be hard to prove. Well, no, it's not, because, you have loads of proof to show what has happened, and scientifically and professionally, we know, and statistically, if we want to go there, we know what causes these issues, unfortunately. And a lot of it has to do with trauma. Okay. And I'm pretty sure that was a traumatizing situation.
Also, we didn't just go after this legally. We went, but tried to give our story to politicians, sent them all the information, and also we went up the chain in CPS, DHS, as high as you can go. We showed them all the evidence of what had been done by the workers. I mean, we went to the top people. We went right up the chain, and we were basically blowing up everybody.
And you did everything that any parent would do, and that's one of these problems that a lot of these parents are having, is they're going higher up. There's always somebody higher up than the next person. Okay. And then when you get to that person, you're getting pushed off to the next person higher up, but then they turn around and they're not giving you the justice, the proper answer, the proper accountability. And that's what the main problem right now is.
And most of these politicians, you're lucky if you get a form letter, much less we're actually looking into what's happening.
Yep, we got to weed. There's a lot of evil going on and corrupt going on.
And I'm going up to some of these politicians. I shake their hands. Oh, we're going to look into this. Nothing.
Nope. And I can't understand how some of these people can actually sleep at night. I know. I had to say that to a worker one time, and I go, and you can look at yourself in the mirror and sleep peacefully at night, can't you?
Once again, I mean, it may sound off, but like the movie and the Matrix. They're not even human anymore. You're talking to an agent. I mean, it's hard to understand. I mean, it's just they're talking to this human, and you say certain words, and the agent comes out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that weird. You're an agent. Their life, it's hard for somebody that their paycheck depends on them not seeing to see what you're talking about. Their paycheck depends on them not seeing.
I've seen them. They recruit. They're getting younger and younger with recruiting kids like straight fresh from college, and I think the purpose of that is number one, because they're impressionable as well. They can manipulate them very easily. And number two, they figure, like say somebody in my situation or maybe somebody younger, if they keep that crowd, we might feel like we have some type, oh, well, they're the same age as me. Maybe they, will understand my situation and we can have some connect. No, they're not your friends. They don't like us. They don't like us. They never will. And as much as people say that, well, CPS is supposed to, that's the thing. They're supposed to be there to protect the children that are actually being abused, not the children that are not being abused. And like I said yesterday, it just seems as if they're pegging certain families out. And the majority of the families and the stories that I hear are always the parents that are the protective parents, are the ones that are actually taking care of their kids and doing what they need to.
Also, here's another problem. They'll deny it, but they have a quota. They have a quota. They have to get a certain amount of money every year from the state and federal. And if they're not getting a certain amount of kids like they got last year, they're going to get less money. So if they get at least as many, if not more kids every year to continue to get the same amount of funds.
Yeah, that's the ASFA law.
Not to mention that they're always pushing for more funds.
That's a
But
federal
to justify more funds, you must bring in more children.
Yeah, it's a federal incentive program.
Yeah.
It doesn't trump the federal law or the Constitution. And we can clearly show a pattern of fraud in both of our cases. We need some legal protection. These people. I don't
Also,
want to say
family
scare
court
people.
Constitution. What's that?
The what?
Constitution. What's that?
Worn out.
Worn out old document.
But I mean, but it still has your rights. I mean, there's still your basic human rights.
And once again, another show I'll bring up, like Game of Thrones, where the queen says, "You think you can hide behind this piece of paper?" Gave him the power over the kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
You think you can hide behind that paper? You parents, you think you can hide behind the Constitution?
I think the worst crimes besides
No.
Besides politicians being involved with drugs and like cartel and stuff, I think the most horrific crime that we all have to deal with nation and countrywide is trafficking of children. Okay. That is one of the main issues all around the world. Okay. And we have from people in measly, little attorney offices all the way up skyrocketing. Okay. You got sometimes people in higher places that I won't mention. But it goes so deep. It's so deep. Like I just watched a couple videos last night and I'm just going, this has been going on for centuries, like been going on for so long.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not picky of what ethnicity or race.
No.
They don't care. They don't care as long as they get the kid and they get the money and that's it.
And another thing, like it's just so deep and it's just so corrupt. It's like a while back you did have like a senator from I think in Georgia that was actually looking into CPS. Well, she wound up dead. So you just think about these things. So
and there was another senator in Arkansas, same thing.
Coming up dead. If you actually look into the CPS and what's going on there. Oh well.
That's why I said what I said because I don't want to mention any names so we don't get censored. But there is a certain video that I do want to send you guys, and I think would be interested in reference to what you're speaking about right now, and it goes back all the way to Kennedy years. Okay, but that's how deep and how far back it's gone. I'm pretty sure it's gone further than that. But
people conspiracy theories. But here's another fact. I can't think of his name right off the bat. Former head of CIA. He actually started looking into child trafficking. He drowned.
There was the guy that just tried to make a movie of a lot of stuff that was going on, and he, unfortunately, him and I believe his wife came up and were deceased now, of course. So the movie never was released.
Did he have a little kid?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, people ask me, if I'm not afraid, well, I said, well, the second time they stood in my door, it's too late. Whatever happens now, the cat's already out of the bag. I'm going to continue to talk about this. I'm going to continue to try to do something about it. If not for my family, for future families. This is just out of line. It's just like you have basically a 3-layer agency. You have family court, and it's just out there. Family court doesn't care about law. CPS is a rogue 3-layer agency, answers to no one. Who does that CPS answer to?
Right.
Even the head of it, I think the very head of CPS has no idea what's going on. She's like a figurehead. They just get somebody, okay, you're the head of this, and then she doesn't know what's going on underneath her. She has no idea.
What bothers me is I guess with the situation like this, like say for instance, they thought that your children were maltreated, and then they turned around and act as if you guys were, God forbid, torturing them in the basement somewhere. Okay. It was just extreme for no reason at all. But I kind of wonder, what is their level of, I don't even know how to explain that. Like, what is the high intensity level of extremity for you to go in there and take a child? Like, what conditions do a child have to be in for you to actually do something like that compared to, say, your situation? You know what I mean? Because I've seen situations way worse where kids are actually living in inhabitable,
right?
You know, violation completely of a house, of human just health. You know what I mean? And kids are left there. And you have a situation like this was because you didn't want to send your child to a doctor that's known for taking children, and they
yeah, and our boys are small for they're healthy, they're small for their age. So then you hear around town or whatever, the parents are starving them.
Yeah.
So we need to go check them out.
I knew my children were healthy and small for their age, but I didn't know, like, you know, because of their chart, they might not be on their chart, but they're perfectly healthy. But once we check the ER report, they find out, even according to their own chart, they're both perfectly healthy. They're both well within the right for their age group. Like I said, when they look at it, they say, whoops, we made a mistake. We shouldn't maybe made all those lies at the door like we did to get in. No, they double down. We have to justify what we did. We have to make a reason that we can prove. They
got to prove a point. Yeah, they got to prove a point for their actions, even though it was false.
The thing is, they know it wasn't a mistake. Do you call a mistake where they're laughing outside your door?
Right.
They know it's not a mistake, so they wouldn't be able to say we made a mistake. Not legitimately.
This could have gone a lot worse. Like how the attitude and how the sheriff's department, people could have died that night. Me, them, because they upped it from the get-go. Intensified it. I mean, they were trying to make an arrest. They wanted me to make a move. They wanted me to do something.
Right.
If I would have done something, somebody got hurt. Them, me, somebody would have got seriously hurt. But I was trying to stand down because I knew it was a no-win situation. But they were pushing it.
Yeah, I think because
if
it
you
happened.
Look at the videos, you can see that deputy lied to my face. He calls me son. I tell him, "Do not call. I'm not your son." He says, "I didn't call you son." It's right there on the video.
Right.
Lying right to your face, and he'll lie on video. Imagine what he'll do outside of video. He lied right after saying it. He called me son. I said, "Don't call me your son. I'm not your son." He said, "I didn't call you that."
So, yeah, I do apologize to anybody watching that there were a few things that we needed to include into this podcast, but this was a new program that I was trying out kind of at the last minute, just because I've never been able to do this before, which does include. So I'm kind of glad at least we got something in there. Again, what I'll do is I still will, and I do apologize greatly, guys. I will still include the video because I seen that where you were in the house and the police were there. That's a little lengthy, right? That one.
Yeah.
Sheriff's deputies.
That's sheriff's deputies.
Okay, that will be included along with the chart with the documentations. And then if there's anything else that I miss after we get off the show, you can just private message me and then I'll edit that in there. So again, I do apologize. This was a new program that I was trying. So far, it's okay. It worked. You know, we got the few videos in there. So I'm kind of thankful for that. Was there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about, or maybe give some advice to some parents out there that might be dealing with CPS?
Videotape all interactions with them, CPS, the police, or anybody else. But even you have everything going for you, it's hard to fight family court. It's like it's just rigged against you. I mean, you're a good parent. You're doing the very best you can. Your children are this, that, and they can still find a reason to get them because that's just how things are run now. Like I say, they have their go-to pediatrician. If the police came in there today, right now, my two children, and took them to their go-to pediatrician, they'd find a reason to keep them. I guarantee you, no doubt.
And a lot of parents, like we said in the beginning, don't understand that. Believe me, once CPS knocks on your door the first time, they will, throughout the either months or the years, find a way and continuously try to harass you, because that's what it turns into. It's turned into harassment. So you do have to stand your ground. Like Reggie said, record everything, keep documentations. Even if you have to have encrypted or even saved on a little disc or a little what is those MP3s, or I'm sorry, not MP3, USB drive, and a USB drive, and send them to someone that you trust, so you know that it's not just specifically staying on your computer. You might have to do that, okay? Because sometimes these people will go very far, and this isn't fear mongering, but it is the truth. When you start standing up for what's right, unfortunately, you will have this going on. They will try to silence you, okay? But
also, that's another good thing. If you can get a hold of an advocate or any kind of advocacy group, get them with you at any of your meetings or anytime you have interaction with anyone. Because when they know there's more ears hearing what's going on and there's more agencies involved than just the parent, they stand up and take notice. I think that's one of the reasons we got our kids back.
Court watchers has been a thing lately, where people are actually going in and court watching for other people. I know.
Also, but also they can work against you because when the judge found out that we had advocates, they checked everybody that's in the courtroom, making sure anybody that wasn't an advocate, because they would send them outside the courtroom. They don't want cameras inside the courtroom. They don't want anybody to know what's going on in family court.
Yeah, we had one advocate. We had the judge kick out one advocate of ours at one court hearing on camera.
What was the because they had a camera?
It was on what do you call it? The virtual. It was virtual. So,
the Zoom.
Okay. So we had an advocate, and
other time when we were in court, they checked to make sure no advocates were in there.
Yeah, that was after that. That's why they did that. Yeah.
So I thought
they don't want any kind of transparency. That's like a light to a vampire.
Mm-hmm. They'll say it's about the kids.
They'll say it's for the kids' safety. Yeah, right.
Yeah. I thought when you were a court watcher, you didn't have to acknowledge yourself as an advocate or anything. You can just say, I'm a court watcher. So they want you to basically present who you are.
Wait, what was it?
I don't know, but they probably wouldn't work. They're just making sure, because they almost kicked out the foster parents.
Oh, yeah.
So they found out there's a foster parent.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, like you said, they want to keep it behind closed doors, unfortunately. But guess what? That's what we're all here for. And we're going to continue doing this, where you guys are going to continue telling your story and spreading your story, because the more testimony is key. I'm going to continue sharing along with many other groups. I do want to forewarn people, though, when you are sharing, especially sensitive information like this, there are times that Facebook will try to censor you or even take your videos down. So please be cautious with the vocabulary that you use in your podcasts. Along with when you're sharing, try not to don't overexceed 50 per day, because they will lock you out of your account. That's just a little tidbit of information there that I've had to learn the hard way quite a few times. You can always go in the next day and just, either resend to friends or go into different groups. Also, another thing to be wary of is if you're involved in some CPS or family court reform groups, the best thing to do is to look at their rules, because there are some groups that don't like stuff being promoted. Right. And although we're not doing this to promote ourselves, we're doing this to raise awareness. Unfortunately, some people will consider it promoting, and they won't be kind enough to send you a message and say, hey, listen, this is kind of going against our standards. They're just going to get you restricted. So please be very cautious. Was there anything else, Reggie and Samison, you'd like to say before we close out?
I left out one significant part, because you're talking about beginnings and stuff. Well, with the second time, in 2020, the thing is that wasn't how, on January 10th, 2020, the footage that you showed, that was not how it began. Actually, with that time, it was 2 months before that. Right. You can see a 2-month pattern going on, like I said. But 2 months before that, the long blonde-haired Kirsty was at our door by herself because of reports that were called in.
I'll say something about that. That's 2 months before she was there when we said we didn't want to talk to her. Now, if these children are in such jeopardy, how come it takes 2 months to come get them?
Yeah, because you see, what happened was we told her she could see all 4 of us through the sliding glass door. She's by herself, and all she had was a DHS referral. And she said, "I need to talk to you about your children." She could see all 4 of us. Timogen had even, he was 3 at the time. Yeah. He had even waved to her. She waved back before walking off. But before that, we told her no, and dinner was on stove too, by the way. And that was it. And she just walked away while talking on her cell phone.
And also, I mentioned the petition this time. Well, the reason for taking children because we wouldn't talk to CPS.
Yeah, from
That's
that
all-
time. From that time, I'm
yeah.
pretty sure. Mhm.
Has anybody ever heard of the FIP?
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying, yeah.
any lawyer will tell you you don't talk to a state agent. Any lawyer will tell you that.
Uh-huh.
Don't talk to a state agent.
Mhm.
And we said, we're not going to talk to you. And they put on petition, reason for taking children, they refused to talk to us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they clearly admit it in the footage because yeah.
Welcome to America. Hey.
You mean that I didn't talk to her?
Yeah.
the first time? Okay.
Because
So
not
she came-
that's why we're here, because you refused to talk.
Yeah, they said it on
Right.
the okay.
And
yeah,
that
once she
and
came
just like
over,
this,
she talked to
that
us.
policeman was going to arrest you because you refused to talk.
Mhm. If I didn't open the door. Mhm.
And
I
talk
heard-
to those people.
Yeah, because they
You're
wanted
going to
to
talk to them. You're going to talk to
Yeah,
them.
that way they can get to Passmore.
Right, exactly.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and so 2 months before that, she wasn't even there about Passmore. It was just because it had been reported about them looking skinny, and I guess about us refusing food from a neighbor. Well, anyways, so when she walked away, see the 2 months in between time, that's when, and here's where our Fourth Amendment rights were violated, and I guess you could say HIPAA, because she went to go check our kids' medical records to see if about the last time.
Even though she got it wrong.
Yeah, yeah, and to see if they had been to a medical check in any recent times, and they hadn't for a while. So that's why.
Yeah, who gives you the right to look at our medical records?
Yeah, and so since it's reported that they were skinny, although it's 2 months later, yeah, she comes back on January. She called I have the communications reports that show she called 911 that morning to get law enforcement to assist her. So she calls 911 and comes to the door with other workers in the Tulsa Police Department to get us to go to Passmore because they hadn't been checked on and it's reported they look skinny, evidently. And so, yet you can see them that their bones aren't sticking out or anything. And so,
Like I said,
why
you
are
can
they
see
going through
you
all
can
that trouble?
find, and then when they go into these ER, they found out they were fine.
Yeah, but you can see that through the window.
Yeah,
when
you
they
see
put
through the
door.
window. But they just make excuses. They say
Uh-huh.
they look skinny, they look like this and that and that. You had blue lips, they had dark circle around the eyes. All lies so you can get the kids, so you can take them to Passmore. And once we get in Passmore, we got them. We got them.
Yeah, even if we'd gone to Passmore willingly.
Yeah, we
they
got
would've
'em.
gotten them anyway.
Doesn't
It
matter.
would have been worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they wanted our kids that day.
And
It
if,
was no big
and
deal.
if they had gone to Passmore and never been sent to the ER, we wouldn't have a case.
their goal was to get our kids in custody somehow. And that's
Because
what
the
they did.
ER is what gave us the case, because we had all the proof from the ER that they had lied and children are fine and well within their way. But if they'd gone to Passmore first, we would never known any of this.
She would have lied about their weights and God
Yep.
knows what
She
else.
probably said they had dark circles. She'd lied about their weights. Who knows? Just like she lied before.
I think it was a lot easier too, the fact that they had already been taken before, and that's what they used in the
Yeah.
video too as an excuse.
and Passmore already knew about the case from before.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
and then they have the same judge. as
Same
last time,
judge too, I might add. He should have recused
I was
himself.
going to ask you that. Yeah.
Same judge.
Unbelievable. Well, I do apologize. Did you want your little ones to say hi to everybody real quick?
Imogen, bring in Nigel. Bring him in. Come on. Come here. This is Nigel, our oldest. And that's Timogen, our youngest.
Hi, guys. You guys are amazing. You know that? You're brave warriors. I am so proud of you guys.
So you're welcome.
You know you have some wonderful parents.
I think he's running off. He's more interested in his toys than anything nowadays.
Well, it was nice to meet you guys.
This is Nigel. He's the one that has the autism.
Aw. They're beautiful kids, though. You guys are doing an amazing job, and you're fighters, and I so appreciate that. I tell every parent that's willing to, stick their neck out there and not only fight.
We
Mom,
don't wear masks around here.
you guys, to the extent of having to even be arrested, and you still said what you needed to say. You still didn't let them silence you at that point in time either. So that's amazing, and I commend you for that.
We're not going to let them silence us.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
In general. Okay.
Right.
So, again, I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of the show. I will definitely, after we get this rolling off of here, I'm going to edit everything back in there. So don't worry, everything that you wanted included in there will be involved. Again, I do apologize for trying to do a new
You said it
program.
was on YouTube as well, right?
It is live actually on YouTube right now. It's on the Tina Salinas page, and it's also on We Are the Voice for the Silence and Afflicted. Anything that I edit on one page is going to automatically edit on everything else for you. Okay. Was there anything else you want to say before we close up?
I think we did.
I guess we're good. Do you want to follow up anytime soon?
I will message you after I get off. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
What?
I said thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Yeah, I heard that. But what did you say before when I asked you about the follow up?
Oh, I'll message you after I get off of here.
Oh, okay.
So I'll message you.
Yeah,
and
I
then
enjoy talking with you always. I mean, we're kind of liking somebody's.
Right. So thank you so much for being a part of the show. Again, guys, Tina Salinas from We Are the Voice for the Silenced and Afflicted. Again, please go to care2.com and don't forget to sign Malachi's Law. Share, like, follow, whatever you have to do to get the word out. This isn't for, popularity, okay? This is to get the truth out there. This is to tell people that this is real world going on and there's real true life events and a trauma happening, not only for the parents, but for the children. They're taking advantage of our babies and they're trying to keep them systemized so that money rolls in, okay? Let's stand up. If you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing.
Exactly.
Tina, again, for We Are the Voice for the Silenced and Afflicted. Have a good night, guys.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
So that was it.
Yep.